He's broken 72 Guinness World Records since 1991, a number so large that itself is another record. No one in the world has run farther while carrying a 10-pound brick. No one but he has crawled on all fours for a full 35 miles. And there certainly is no other human who has run 110 miles while continuously dribbling a basketball. He has no shortage of records to talk about, most equally non-traditional. For the sake of brevity, however, I had to pick just one. And so today is Tuesday, July 29th, 2025, and on this day in 2002, Canadian Renaissance man Suresh Joachim broke the world record for the furthest distance run continuously on a treadmill within 48 hours. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and you are listening to Today in Running History. It is once again Tattoos Day, which means that today's episode is sponsored by My Race Tats. These are the fantastic temporary tattoos with motivational sayings on them that I wear for every single one of my races. And this is a huge week for My Race Tats because tomorrow is their second birthday as a company. Guys, not only do I love this company for their products, but owners Dawn and Kathleen Oswalt are just the best humans. I hope all of y'all will join me in wishing My Race Tats a very, very, very happy birthday. Oh, and to celebrate this milestone, we are all getting gifts. So starting today, if you use the code BDAY40 at checkout, you will save 40% off your entire order. Temporary tattoos do not expire, so this is the absolute best time to stock up on all your favorite mantras, including I am race ready, forward is a pace, and I can and I will. The code BDAY40 is valid through midnight on July 31st, so if you are listening on a future date once that code has expired, listeners of Today in Running History can always use my code Hillary to save 20%. All right, now let's talk about Suresh Joachim. Joachim was born in 1968 in Sri Lanka and set his first world record in 1996. It is reminiscent of the Barclay match that I covered on the July 12th episode. As you recall, back in 1809, a man named Robert Barclay walked 1 mile every single hour for 1,000 consecutive hours. Nearly 200 years later, Suresh Joachim ran a bit more than a mile every hour, though not an exactly defined number, for 1,000 consecutive hours, ending up running nearly 2,200 miles over the course of those 6 weeks. Once that record was in the books, Joachim was hooked, and he began traveling the world in pursuit of other records to conquer. Some of the records Suresh Joachim has gone after are bizarre and not exactly feats of endurance. He set the world record for the fastest time eating an entire lemon, for example, which was just under 31 seconds. He holds the record for the longest time spent watching TV continuously, which was 72 hours, and for the most eggs held in one hand for 30 seconds, which was 30. Joachim first traveled to Canada in 2003 for one of his many world record attempts. It was there that he met his wife Krista, and after the two married, Joachim relocated to Toronto full-time. Oh yeah, and the wedding itself was a record breaker with 79 bridesmaids, 47 groomsmen, and a 200-foot bouquet. Now let's get to those feats of endurance. Exactly 23 years ago today, Joachim completed a 48-hour treadmill run in Melbourne, Australia. Over the course of the 2 days, he traveled a distance of 133.57 miles, which is about 3 miles per hour. Almost exactly 2 years later, he decided that 48 hours was not nearly enough, so he traveled to Paris to see how far he could make it on his treadmill in a full week. The answer was 409.65 miles. As a side note, there is a criminal lack of details online. Yes, criminal, about these treadmill records, and I cannot find any info on how he handled bathroom breaks. His overall pace was pretty slow, around 21 minutes per mile on average, so I assume this was slow enough to somehow maneuver a bucket into the right spot and take care of business while walking like a farm animal. The other real question here came in 2008 when Joachim's 48-hour treadmill record was broken by an Irish man named Tony Mangan. Mangan was able to cover 251.79 miles, which comes out to 11-minute miles. And I would love to see someone manage a poop bucket at that pace. I mean, not really see it. But you know what I mean. 11-minute miles, just maneuvering the poop bucket. Anyways, that bucket has likely been needed for many more of Joachim's world records. In one instance, he covered 110.29 miles in 24 hours while dribbling a basketball. One of his records involved carrying a 10-pound brick and a pincher grip for 78.54 miles. And yet another record was set when he crawled on his hands and knees continuously for 35.18 miles. Now at this point, you're probably wondering, why? Sure, these are oddly impressive feats, but what exactly does Joachim get from putting his body through such strange and exhausting activities? For the record, I did reach out to Suresh Joachim about coming on the podcast, but he unfortunately never responded to my emails. On one of his websites, Joachim said that these records were set, quote, in attempts to benefit underprivileged people around the world, but does not explain how exactly that is accomplished. He grew up in a war-torn region of Sri Lanka and started a philanthropy called No Poverty, No Disease, No War, the purpose of which he says is to, quote, create the greatest natural economy for all, free from poverty, disease, and war. One tangible way he supported this cause was by creating and running what he called the World Peace Marathon. Beginning on Christmas 2017, Joachim spent 9 months running in 126 cities across 6 continents for a total of 2,216 miles. During this time, he met with leaders from various businesses, municipal governments, ministries, and militaries, and collected citizens' messages for world peace in more than 50 languages. He also declared August 1st as World Ceasefire Day and collected 200 signatures for a world peace petition. Suresh Joachim hasn't posted on Instagram for 2 years, but his website says that he is currently working on a few more world records, including the fastest time to run 10,000 kilometers in 120 days, the longest time spent running in a Hollywood film, and the fastest journey running backward across the entire island of Great Britain. So next time you're out there just running on a trail or a road or a treadmill, think of Suresh Joachim and ask yourself, how can I jazz this up a bit? Maybe something with yogurt or a mitten or something. I'll leave that part up to y'all. The world is your oyster. And that's the show for today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on alerts, and then send this episode to someone who would hold the poop bucket during your own world record attempts. And then join me tomorrow for a conversation with one of the best all-around athletes in British history. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and this has been Today in Running History. Suresh Joachim. No, my God. Okay. It's Joachim. I looked it up so I could do it. Jesus. Suresh God damn it. Joachim. For the sake of brevity, God, I can't even get through that part now. Brevity. This is rough. Okay, and I have to say Joachim multiple times. Okay. For the sake of brevity. We are off to such a bad start. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about Suresh Joachim. Okay. Now, let's get to those feats of endurance. Exactly 23 years ago today, Joachim, why is this so hard for me? Joachim. Citizens' message for messages. They have multiple messages. Whew. All right. We're going to start again just at one tangible way. And I didn't write I didn't even write an outro. Hold on. Dang it. I'm going to pause this. All right. We're recording again. Okay. like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on alerts, and then send this episode. We're having some troubles today. Some big troubles. Let's do the whole outro again.